And we're back at Black Sea Offstage Talks, and I'm here with Saulo Rocha, one of the founders of Madrid, one of my personal favorite agencies. And Saulo is a proud recipient of 65 Cannes Lions, including 2 Titaniums, 5 Grand Prix, not to mention other 450 awards around other festivals. Saulo, you obviously have attended your fair share of advertising festivals. How do you find at Black Sea? And are you planning to add it to your amazing list of awards?
Who knows? I'm actually finding it fantastic. I was, having conversations yesterday with the rest of the jury members that were invited to be here, and I love how authentic it is, and I think that regional festivals, they're super important to somehow establish a culture of excellence, raise the bar, and just get the whole community together to share their passion. And that's what I've been seeing here. So that's really fantastic. I'm super honored to be invited. I've seen some of the speakers and jury members from previous years. I think what you're doing is fantastic, just inviting just inspiring people that I've admired for a long time, that came here before, and that's these meeting, these encounters that we can have with other regions. I think they are always fantastic opportunities. So at Black Sea is surprising me in the most positive way, and who knows, maybe 1 year we'll be here as well competing, and hopefully doing well.
It's great to hear from you. Saulo, you have been creating amazing work for more than 17 years and you can't seem to stop. How do you fuel your devotion to creativity? And has there been a moment when you have questioned it? And if so, how did you overcome that moment?
I think every single creative in the world has had a moment where you question, is this the only way that I can, express my creativity and my passion? It happened to me, but it was very brief, because I think one of the things that got me into advertising is actually the fact that although I'm not the best at anything, I can be the second best of many things. So it helped me. I wasn't the greatest illustrator, but I knew how to illustrate. I wasn't the greatest writer, but I knew how to write. I wasn't the greatest editor, but I knew how to edit. I wasn't the greatest creative, but I knew how to create ideas. And I could just, use this profession as an outlet to all of my frustrated passions, to put it in a way, and combine them to do work that I'm proud of. So I think that this is still what pushes me to keep working. It was even part of the presentation that I did yesterday for the audience. I think that few things in life make me as happy as that moment of seeing an idea come to life. That sensation is a little bit addictive. Being fully honest, for me, it's a little bit addictive to just see that this idea went from a piece of paper to real life, and it's all because of the team that was behind it. So
you just described yourself as a jack of all trades, I guess. How important is it to have understanding of other disciplines, not just your specific skill, in order to create such creative work?
I think it's fundamental. My background is as an art director, and sometimes art directors are regarded as a very specific part of the team, more executional role. And I think that since my first years, I understood that if I really only went deep in art direction, I would be limiting myself and possibly my career. And that was also not what, my background was a little bit all over the place. So I started in web design, and then I went and worked for a BTL company, and then it really took me a while until I got to an ad agency. So I came from experimenting, and that gave me, I wouldn't say that it gave me the background to do things in a bit broader way, but it at least allowed me to understand that I didn't need to settle for just one thing. And I always encourage my team to try and do things that they're not supposed to. So go and talk to strategy, go and talk to production, go and talk to accounts. I think that ability to circulate in different departments in a creative agency is super important, and it is as well what will prepare you for the next step of any creative leader, which is, like, go and talk to the world, to a client, to a vendor at a festival like this. So I think that all of this makes you a more complete professional, and I think it's highly important.
One of the moments in your speech I caught and found very interesting was that sometimes you have to fuel your creativity to even maybe legal department who have to approach legal issues more creatively to solve some unsolvable problems. How do you inspire people who are not into advertising, and they should understand why you want to do that?
I think it's, again, we've had the chance at David Madrid to work with some fantastic clients, and one of them is Fernando Machado, and he's a person that always encouraged us to present work that would, make him go like, okay, I need to call my lawyer to know if we can do this. So I think that brave, bold ideas, they usually take you to a place where this hasn't been done before. So we need to understand if it is even possible or legal to do it. And in our conversations with legal departments, we always find people who are not in communication that the first answer is no. It is no. No, you cannot do it. And they're possibly right. But then if you do not work around, and if you don't work with them, then ideas will never come to life. So I think that we've had many projects where we had to have not only 1 or 2 or 3 meetings with legal departments. We had to have like tens of meetings with legal departments, and understand as well, like how we can do something that will be good for the company, good for the agency, and good for the audience. So you need to be creative across the whole process. Sometimes creatives feel like their job is done after having an idea, and that, okay, now it's someone else's responsibility to just make it happen. And it isn't the case. I think that that's a culture that we've established at David, and it is a culture that right now, in my opinion, is consistent to everyone, not only to the creative department, of this is just the beginning. Now I need to work as much as I can to make it happen, and if I do not do it, no one else will do it for me. So it's, it's a commitment to have a great idea on a piece of paper. And if you're not ready to take that commitment, then do not have a great idea on a piece of paper, because it can also be a curse, right? I mean, you don't want to be the person that had this great idea and it never came to life, and you have this big what if in your head. Or even worse, you can see 1 year later, someone came and had the same idea and had the will and the drive to bring it to life. That really is something that you do not want to have in your life.
David Madrid is known for creating some of the most iconic campaigns in recent years, and you have won numerous Cannes Lions and other awards, and worked with powerhouse brands such as Netflix, Burger King, Coca-Cola, etc. How would you say describe the importance of the clients being also devoted to the creativity rather than accomplishing just the business goals?
I think it's fundamental. It's silly to think that the work is only done by an agency. I think it's a joint effort. It's an ambition that is shared by agencies and clients, and I think it's also part of a relationship. No client starts doing disruptive creative work out of the blue. I think there is always a journey to get there. There is a quote from my boss, Pancho Cassis, that I love, which is, if you want to have a client doing creative work and they're not doing creative work yet, it's like getting someone that's vegetarian to start eating meat. You're not serving them a T-bone right there. You go for appetizers, you go for small snackable bites, and you gradually get to the T-bone, but you need to prepare the way. You need to work with the brand to get to that point. So Stephen A's Challenge, which is a highly disruptive project that we worked on for Burger King, was only possible because there were years of creative work that happened before Stephen A's Challenge. A brand cannot, out of the blue, start doing disruptive creative work if it hasn't had a consistent body of work that takes you there. So I think that working with the clients and getting them to appreciate the boldness, the braveness that creativity can bring to their brands, I think it's super important, and we're lucky to have clients that are already in that stage. We just named some of them, but the truth is that most of our clients look for us and work with us because they have that ambition as well. It's not only, the ambition doesn't come only from the agency. I think it's super important to establish that. And that's one of the reasons why we work on the projects together, but we win the awards together, and we do interviews together, and we go to festivals together, because it is a relationship of passion about the creative ideas.
Looking back on your journey, what advice would you give to aspiring creatives about the importance of devotion to the personal and professional growth, or how to win more than 400 awards?
The first thing is, the words are definitely a consequence of your devotion, and I would say start without having it as a goal, because it literally happens very naturally, and I would never have imagined that David Madrid in 5 years would have done so well on festivals, because that was not the goal. The agency was not born for that. We actually thought that the 5 first years we'd be pitching and doing new business like crazy. Until then, we could start doing great work. But it happened the other way. It happened very quickly that we managed to use that reputation of David to attract a reputation that wasn't built by us, because we were just launching the office in Europe. But that attracted clients that were looking forward to working with David, but never had an office close to them. So we got business from day one that allowed us to start doing good work already. So again, just to start with the final part of your question, I think that the awards, they're a natural consequence of the energy, the passion, and the devotion that you bring to the work. And regarding how to inspire and motivate creatives about the importance of being devoted to their jobs, I think that in a way we are blessed with a profession that we can call a passion, right? I think it's not that often. We were just talking about lawyers, and I have plenty of friends that do not understand the dedication that us advertisers have for what we do at work. I'm not saying that they're frustrated or that they don't like their job. It's just that they find other places in their lives to dedicate their passion as well. And in our business, in advertising, I think that we're blessed with something that is really motivating and it stimulates a lot. As I was saying, in my case, I find it addictive sometimes. You know, like I have a very concrete idea of the feeling that I have when I hear a great idea and when I see that it is in action and emotion. So that's a blessing. That's great, but that's also something that will demand you to be up to speed with the rest of the industry, because everyone is as passionate as you are about their work. So I think that devotion, in healthy levels, of course, I think it's necessary if you want to succeed in the area that we're in, because there will always be that person that will not rest. I think that the creative minds are active the whole time, the weekends, dinners. And I get that. Like I have creatives that write to me on a Saturday night saying, hey, I think I found out how to do that. And I'm go like, go relax. It's not the time, you know? But that's my point. It's a profession that comes with a passion behind. And I think that if you're in this business, you need to really bring that level of energy and passion to it if you want to achieve great results.
Yeah, I think there are some people who prefer not to have problems at all and remove them, and there are people who enjoy solving problems creatively. And as I understood your message, it's very important to fuel the creativity into even legal departments, HRs, to let them enjoy solving those problems creatively.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a transversal mindset. I think that it is impossible to create a creative agency only with a creative department. I think you need to have that vision being shared by everyone in the process.
We have had another successful year at Black Sea. It was sold out once again, and many people couldn't manage to get the tickets. What would your message be to those who couldn't manage to attend this year's at Black Sea? Why should they buy first tickets, being the ones first in line to buy next year's tickets?
No, I was really impressed with the size of the audience, a little bit intimidated, to be honest, when you go upstage and you see this sea of people looking at you. But the first thing that I tell them, it's just such a vibrant environment, and they're missing a great opportunity to just, you know, like have a sharing moment with colleagues from other agencies, from other countries, and very inspiring speakers as well. I was impressed with the speakers that came right before me, and I was even, you know, like, will I be able to keep the bar that high? So I think that it's a pity that you couldn't make it this year. I heard that it was sold out, and there were people writing in parallel asking, is it really sold out? Aren't there more tickets? So it's a pity that you couldn't be here. But I advise you, you know, like, to plan in advance and buy the tickets as soon as they're available, so that you're not the ones that won't be here. I was also told that this is the largest venue that they have in Batumi, so it's going to be complicated to find a bigger place. So it's always going to be like this. People will be fighting to be here. Make sure you're the first one in line. You won't regret. I think you'll have a blessed and amazing time.
Saulo, you have been an inspiring speaker for the festival and an amazing guest for the interview. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. Count on me for whatever comes next. And thank you, the festival, the organization. I was saying that at the beginning of my talk yesterday, I didn't make your lives easier at all. No, I have several meetings and everything that made the logistic a little bit complicated, but you were lovely. You made me feel like home. So thank you for that. And thank you, Georgia. I'll need to come back because I had, you know, like, very little time to enjoy everything, but I'm taking back this little bird to my baby. That's called Georgia, by the way. And that's a commitment to come back and visit the country properly. Thank you.
Thank you.